For the past 46 years, the Anglican Church Men has been the primary organization for Holy Cross's men. Many have passed through, making significant contributions, but over time, it lost members and momentum. Longtime members began to fear the ACM's future as people started to see it as an old boys club.
The organization has gotten a bit old. In fact, when I joined and many years after that, it became a club for older men, where when you retire and there's nothing to do, you join the ACM. But CJ has turned it around, and a lot of younger guys have joined the ACM now, and he's kind of just totally changed the complexion of the ACM. CJ is a bit different than anyone else's age. He seems to be, he's very focused. He's very organized. And we've had several discussions regarding who would take over the role of presidency, and CJ's name came up all around.
As a member of the ACM, we saw it dying, myself and Trevor. We always talk about who's going to succeed him, and we always constantly talk about it. He said, now listen here, man, you got the president right in your doorstep. I say, who's that? He say, CJ. I say, yes. He missed being a priest, so time for him to take up his responsibility as a leader in this church again and lead the men. And he did a wonderful job.
We were challenged to find someone to take over for me for a few years. That's how I ended up being the president for one more year. I was finally able to get it over CJ that he would consider doing it. So I put in the 1 year as a bridge, and then he stepped into the role, and the rest is history.
It was time for a change, a leader who could bridge the gap, uniting all men throughout the church. They believed the person to do that would be Clarence C.J. McKenzie, a young man that has grown up in the church and has proven to be a leader. CJ admits to being reluctant to take up the post initially, but once elected, he wasted no time in getting to work. His first mission was to get new and younger members to join. In 2 years, he added 24 members. Director Oliver Lynch was one of those members.
There's a stigma that ACM was for older men, but I joined it with no regrets, and it has been very beneficial in terms of mentoring to me. And one thing I've learned is from visiting with the group of men, I've visited the shut-in, and I've learned that there's more to life than just living. When I visit the shut-in and hear their contribution that they have given to society, I've learned, and I took away from that you could go out and do much more in terms of just living.
Well, the highlight over the last 4 years in the Holy Cross branch under President McKenzie's leadership is, like I mentioned, we've seen, of course, an increase in membership. We continue to work closely with the clergy. We continue to have excellent and fundraising events, and continue our active participation in church. The men, for the most part, is always visible.
With a new, fresh energy now in the organization, President McKenzie continued to work. He implemented many initiatives, from recruitment drives to outreach programs, empowerment presentations, and spiritual retreat weekends under his leadership.
Most meaningful programs that we took upon was the spiritual mini retreats. This would have been our first one in 2018. We decided to go to Freeport, Grand Bahama, on just on the weekend, go on Friday, come back on Sunday, and we were able to bond and grow close to the ACM members of Pro Cathedral in Freeport. That was such a wonderful experience for us to now see and come close to other men just like us, being involved with the same purpose in mind. We then had our next spiritual retreat on Harbor Island, which was even more impactful. And I think those are events that we want to continue as time goes on.
And while he never lost sight of what the ACM was all about, which is to build Christian men, CJ also wanted to see more of a male presence in the church.
One of the things that I found in church was that there were so many events happening around church, but not enough presence of men. And that was something I wanted to change. I think the lack of men not showing up in the country is a stigma that we have. And I wanted Holy Cross to be different. I wanted, when we had church events, that you would see more men than ever before, as opposed to seeing just the females and the kids.
McKenzie and his team forged ahead with plans. And then COVID-19 happened.
I believe I've done my time. I believe I've worked hard for the 4 years. We were impacted strongly by COVID-19. The minute COVID-19 hit, the Holy Spirit led me to say, CJ, we need to keep the men involved and communicate as much as possible in a world of uncertainty, as opposed to not doing anything. Immediately, once the country was shut down, we started to have our weekly Bible devotions and connect in that way. And that continued weekly until about June, where we went to twice a month. But the whole purpose was to stay in connection with each other, to stay praying for each other, praying along with each other. And that led us to do so many different virtual events.
Still, CJ was determined to keep the brotherhood alive by hosting virtual panel discussions,
build relationships rather than destroy relationships.
But the thing about it is, once we realize that kids are a gift from God, we would.
So, being in that type environment.
the ACM even paid a special tribute to the mothers of Holy Cross. CJ also highlighted the Pavilion Project and being named the 2020 ACM Richard Gibbs Award Branch of the Year. He's proud of what he has been able to accomplish, but acknowledges that he couldn't do it without the members and his biggest supporter, his dad.
I'm elated as a father. You know, I don't like to blow my own horn, but chips don't fall far from the block, you know? So you get that from me, I can guarantee you that. What CJ brought, we have never seen before. He got the new idea, new ideas, with the technology. We ain't had that in our time. You know, we got this thing called Zoom calling, and I couldn't get on the phone for nothing. I had to get my granddaughter to get me on. And he's consistent, and that's what I like about him. He's consistent and persistent about getting the men involved in church, and he done that. He done a wonderful job, if I might say.
In his 4-year run as president, members salute CJ on a job well done, saying he's taken the organization to higher heights. And while they will miss him in his current role, they're hopeful that the ACM will continue on the path that it's on.
Continuity is very important. And so we would hope that as President McKenzie demits office, we would hope that his successor is one from his current administration, a younger member, so that we could continue to show a youthful face as the leader of our organizations. And we look for continuity. And so we would hope that the new leader continues in the same vein that President McKenzie has done so excellent in.
His successor is going to have to be just as strong-willed as CJ is, just as innovative, or even more so. And he's going to have to be a good listener, because a good leader knows when to follow, and CJ exemplifies that.
And as his time comes to a close, he looks back on his journey with fond memories and leaves the post stronger in his walk with Christ. And he's excited for what the future holds for the ACM.
I must say that I will have to leave my legacy up to the men whose lives I've shared with them over the last 4 years. I believe that the person who benefited the most from my presidency was me. My spiritual life is not the same as it was when I first became president. I got to see so many things from a different level. So I do have to thank the men for allowing me to be their president and their leader, because the growth that I've seen in myself has been unparalleled. And so I thank the men for that opportunity. So what advice? Man, I am so excited. I can't wait to see who the next president will be. I look forward to participating and being involved in the role as immediate past president. And I truly wish that the organization would even go to higher heights.